Action course in SAP S4HANA compare with SAP ECC.
I see. Thank
Okay, so from the finance side, you know that a lot of simplifications have been happened from the finance side. Mostly, if you see from the logistic wise and finance side, the most of the simplifications have been happened from the finance side. So there are a lot of transaction codes have come in place of old transaction codes. Okay, so people who have worked in earlier in SAP ECC, they can easily can come to the comparison. Like if I provide the list of the transaction codes, so somewhere it has been kept over there. So definitely I'll give you. Okay, so by today end of the day, let me look out in the Google Drive. There are a lot of documents are there, so I need to find out each and every document. Okay, so I'll be providing by today end of the day. At most by not by today, by tomorrow morning I'll get the list and I'll send you to the list of the data. Don't worry about all the process. So 1 second. Okay, so let me go through the each and every point. Okay, so 1 second. So actually server is not available with us right now, so actually because of customers, okay, they have gone for the maintenance. But let me open one material and let me discuss on that material today. So let me discuss on each and every one topic. 1 second, sir. What happened to this particular certification? One second, sir. Just 1 second. 1 second, sir, please. Okay, this is one of the certification material I'll be sharing with you after this class. Okay, this is what exactly we call it as the S4F00. This is SAP F0F0. This is actually the material course. Okay, so if I go back to the curriculum, I'll show the curriculum also. So the overview of the finance in SAP S4HANA. What does it means that, okay, so as I just now I told that, okay, so the lot of changes means a lot of simplifications have been happened from the SAP core, the core level and at the database table level. The most impacted module is going to be the finance. Nothing other than finance. If you go and look for other modules like SD and MM, there are no much changes. Okay, so except finance, 80% of the changes have been happened means from the simplification point of view. So this material is going to give you the what are all the simplifications from the finance side actually. So I'll be sharing this material to all of you. So this is SAP S4HANA introduction and the overview. Okay, we are going to be positioning to the SAP S4HANA finance and how the SAP S4HANA management accounting is nothing but something we call it as the controlling. Actually, we call it as the controlling. And how to navigate, log on to the navigate to the GUI. So as I've been explaining you, so, okay, something like go to client ID, give the client number, user ID and password and click on SPR, just go to SPRO, click on IMG. So it will be giving on something about how to access to the Fiori and everything. So this material is something like, okay, so from the start, for the starters who is learning the SAP S4HANA for the first time, this material is going to be helpful for them. So let me take all the things we have discussed, everything. So what is the footprint? What we discussed about what is the database footprint reduction? What are the work permits? Okay, this we'll discuss in the Fiori. When we come to the Fiori, we'll discuss about this. What are all the native HANA capabilities? Okay, so what are the choice of deployments we have right now? What is the new user experience like a Fiori? Okay, so these are all the things. Okay, so now we call the SAP S4HANA as a digital core. What is the digital? We discussed in a very beautiful word, the digital core and the digital innovation. And these are the cloud applications right now we have in the SAP S4HANA Finance Cloud. If you see here, these are the cloud applications we have in SAP S4HANA. Okay, so when you come to the core finance, these are the cloud for the finance accounting and closing, cost management and the reporting analysis. These are the cloud versions. So I'll take you to the from unit 1. Okay, so this unit 1 is not required for us. Okay. So when you see here, so we are discussing about the currencies now. Okay, various currencies we are discussing. We call it as a company code currency, and also we discussed about what is the global company currency and what is the group currency. So most of the people, they are in a confusion that, okay, so there are two things are there. One is going to be called the global company currency, and the second one we are going to be calling it as the group currency. First one we call it as a global company currency, and the second one we call it as a group currency. See, normally two things we need to understand. One is going to be called as settings your configurations at the company code level, and the settings are made at the client level. Very, very important. So what is the company code level settings and what is the client level settings? Now we are logging to the client number is going to be called as 400. Normally when you go and log into the client, okay, client is nothing but the 400 is nothing but our client. So we are logging to the client number is going to be called as the 400, and we are giving the username and the password. So the configuration which is not dependent on the company code are going to be called as a client level. The configurations which are impacting to the company code means which you have to do at the company code level, which is not impacting to other company codes. For example, I have three company codes are there. For example, US 10, IN 10, and another one is AU 10. Okay, so these are the three company codes are there. So there are some configuration settings are there. There are some configuration settings are there which you have to do at the company code level, Very, very important here. Now that particular settings we call it as the company code level, and there are some configuration settings are there which you have to do at the client level. So which you have to do at the client level. Client level is nothing but, so it is not based on the company code level. For example, I'll take a group currency. Now I'll take one example, group currency. What is the group currency? Group currency is mainly useful for the consolidation. Group currency is mainly useful for the consolidation. Here, my local currency is USD, and here my local currency is going to be the INR, and here my local currency is going to be the Australian dollars, AUD. So these are called as my local currencies. Actually, these three are called as my local currencies. Now there is a one more currency. You are making at the client level, means all these company codes are created within the same client, which is called as the 400. 400 is nothing but my client number. So all these company codes are within the same client, within the same server. So at the client level, at the complete client level, is nothing but your 400 is nothing but your client. At the client level, I am assigning one currency. Which is going to be calling it as euro. For example, euro or USD, whichever the currency, only one currency. Means this particular currency which you are going to be assigned at the client level, this is not at the company code level. Means this particular currency, euro, is going to be is at the client level, where this particular currency is called as a group currency. Group currency means it is not specific to US 10, it is not specific to IN 10, it is not specific to AU 10. So it is at the client level. So there are some settings we have to do at the client level, and there are some settings we have to do at the company code level. Now I'm creating three company codes. Now I'm creating US 10, IN 10, and AU 10. Now I have a company called as CH. I have a company called as a CH. Now, very, very important, How do the SAP knows that? How do the SAPs know that all these three company codes belongs to the same company? Very, very important here. Yes, we have created the company in the last class, and we have created all these three company codes. But we have never shown the relationship in the entire configuration that all these three company codes belongs to the same company. So we have only defined here, we have only defined what we have defined. We have defined the company, we have defined the company, and what is done? We have defined the company codes. Only these two things. Define company codes. But where is the relationship? But where is the relationship between this assignment of company to the company codes here? So we have to do the assignment. So these are all the things we are going to be defining. So next one is going to be called as assignment. Now you have to give the assignment. You have to tell the relationship. Now all these three company codes belongs to the same company. So what you are going to do? You are assigning all these three company codes to the same company. You are assigning all these three company codes to the same company. So here, this is what exactly I call it as assignment. So in the assignment, what I have to do? Assign company codes to company. See here the words which I'm going to be using. Company means multiple company codes can be assigned to one company. Please make an understanding here, please. Multiple company codes multiple company codes can be assigned to one company. Very, very important here. Very, very important. So what is the understanding here? The number of company codes you have created, the multiple company codes you have created can be assigned to one company. But multiple companies cannot be assigned to one company code. Assign company codes, multiple company codes to one company, but multiple companies cannot be assigned to one company code. So that is the reason we call the company codes as called as a legal entity. That is the reason we call the company codes are called as a legal entity. So these legal entities are going to be assigned to one company.
Mahesh?
Yes, sir.
You need to say it is not vice versa.
It's not a vice versa. That's exactly. But if you ask me the one question, is it mandatory that I need to assign all the company codes to company? Shall I create? Is it mandatory? I'm putting a question to all of you. Is it required? Is it required?
It should be, as long as you want to take down all the accounts in the one balance sheet for the C8.
Okay, sir. Then I'll put a question, sir, here. Then all of you, I'm putting a one question to you. Now, if you see here, there are two currencies are there. There are two currency types are there. One is called as a global currency. Another one is going to be called as a group currency. Now, if I tell that all the company codes are mandatory, that it has to be assigned to the company. Now, my company is telling that I don't want any report based on the global company currency. Because anyhow I have the group currency. Group currency is maintained at the client level. So is it required? Now again I'm putting the question: is it required? Is it mandatory that I need to assign all the four company codes to the company? Because anyhow I don't want any reports based on the global company currency. I want to have the reports at the group currency level.
It is not, I think, in that case.
So Mahesh, what you are saying is like the company code US 10, IN 10, AU 10. So those are assigned all to C8, which is 400. But 400 cannot be assigned to these three. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm not assigning it. Madam, here see, if you see very carefully, there are two currency. Forget about the company code currency right now. See, now we are discussing about the currency types. Now here, if you see, there are two currency type I'm specifying. One is called as a global company currency. The global company currency is nothing but whichever the currency you are assigning to this company. For example, my global company currency is USD here. Example, USD. This is my global company currency. And the second one, I have the group currency. The group means you have 3-4 companies are there. I have C8-1, I have the C8-2, I have the C8-3. I have 3 companies like that. I have 3 companies. Now, if you see very carefully, madam, I have three companies. All these three companies are within the same client called as the 400. I'm creating all these three companies. And this US10, IN10 and IAU10 belongs to this company. And there are other three company codes belongs to this company. And other three company codes belongs to this company. Means I am assigning the proportionate way that all this company code belongs to one and one and one. Now, what is my understanding here is if I don't assign the company codes to a company, very, very important, very, very important. If I don't do this setting, if I don't assign the company codes to the company, what is the impact on my SAP at the reporting level?
For that particular one, which is not included, will be dropped out from the reports.
So only at which currency level, sir? Only at the global company currency level, not at the group currency level. Am I right?
Yeah.
If you're not assigning these three company codes to this company, I will not get any reports based on the global company currency, but I will get the reports from the group currency.
Mahesh, how is that possible? Because if you are not assigning to...
There should be some link, right? When you are saying that these company codes are related to one company, somewhere the relation should be there. If it is not there, how come system will know it is particular to that company?
Okay, I'll tell you, sir. Okay. It's not a mandatory. Okay, first thing is very clear to us. It's not a mandatory. It's not a mandatory in SAP that even if you're not assigning the company codes to a company, okay, you can still allow, the SAP is going to allow us to do the postings at the company code level. Very, very important, sir. Very, very important. Because here my base is going to be called as a company code, not as a company. SAP will never look about the company is assigned to this company code or not. The assignment is never going to be looked out. Okay, so what is the purpose? Why we are assigning the company codes to a company means the most important thing here is for the cross company code transaction. Please, all of you, this is the certification question. Please make a note of this. For cross company codes.
Yeah, got it.
Yes. So SAP will never stop you. SAP will never stop you when you are not assigned a company codes to a company. It will never stop you to the posting of the transaction. If I'm posting any transaction, for example, okay, so rent expenses account is going to be the debit, and my bank or cash account will become the debit credit. Okay, so this is what exactly the transaction I'm posting in SAP. So this transaction, whenever you're posting this accounting entry in SAP, the SAP will look out whether you have created the company code or not. Whether it will never look out whether the company code is assigned to the company or not. It is only the optional setting when it is required. When multiple company codes are assigned to the same company, very, very important. When the multiple company codes are assigned to the same company, when you have a scenario called as a cross company code transactions. When you have a scenario called as cross company code transactions within the same company, within the same controlling area, then I require that internal trading partner. Internal trading partner is nothing but your company. I told that a trading partner, a company is always called as a trading partner when you are doing a cross company code transaction between one company code to another company code which have been assigned to the same company, then this company is called as the internal trading partner. So when there are any cross company code transaction, then this assignment is going to be the required. Very, 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 very important. And the second thing, when you have assigned all these three company codes to one company, then you have three level of reporting. One, you can have the reporting at the company code level, that is called as the company code currency. You can see the reports at the consolidation level at the company level, that is called as the global company currency. And the third one, you can also have the reports at the client level, which is going to be called as a group currency. Clear to all of you now?
Yeah.
Mahesh, can you show this like in the system itself so I can understand it better?
Definitely, we are in the process of making the practice. So yesterday, what we have done, we have created the company and the company codes. Now I'm making you clear about the concept over here, because we have never assigned the company codes to the company. Right now, we have never came across to the assignment of company codes to the company. We are in the company and the company codes only. We are lot more to do before we come to this assignment of company codes to the company. But why? Because first of all, we need to get a clarity about all these currency types. Then only I can go and assign the company to company codes. So I'm coming to the SAP ECC to SAP S4HANA. Very, very important that is. Now I'm coming to the SAP ECC now. ECC, and here I'm coming to the SAP S4HANA. There are a lot of differences have been there. Means a lot of changes have been done from the ECC to SAP S4HANA from the assignment of currency level. Very, very important. When you come to the SAP ECC, we call we are going to be assigned. There are two modules are there. One is going to be calling it as the finance. Another one we call it as the controlling. Very, very important. Another one is going to be called as the controlling. CO is nothing but we call it the controlling, or it is also called as a management accounting. Please, anyone is both are going to be the same, controlling or management accounting. In certification books, you will see it as a management accounting. Normally, we call it as a controlling. Okay, both are going to be the same. So the currency settings are made at the FI level, and the currency settings are made at the controlling level. Very, very important. Very, very important. Now, when you come to the FI is nothing but your general ledger accounting. Please make sure that FI is nothing but your general ledger accounting. So there is a table which we call it as BSEC table. BSEC is going to be calling it as a line item level table in FI. Please, very, very important. I'm talking in SAP ECC. Now I will compare SAP ECC to SAP S4HANA. Now, when you come to the controlling, we have a line item level table called as COEP table. Please make a note of these two tables. COEP is the table. Actually, normally we call it FICO module, No, FI is a separate module and controlling is a separate module. Both are having a different line item level tables. BSEC is the line item level table for FI, and COEP is the line item level for the controlling. What is the line item level? Line item level means here, if I come back here, how many line items are there? If I want to post a transaction, there are two line items are there. One is the rent expenses, which is called as the debit line item. And the second one is going to be called as the bank account, which is called as the credit line item.
Then Mahesh,
debit line item, sir.
There should be minimum 2 line items for each transaction.
Any transaction in SAP, if it is impacting to your general ledger accounting, definitely there should be minimum 2 line items. The 2 line items should be different. One should be the credit, another one should be the debit. No 2 debits, no 2 credits can be posted, cannot be posted. Clear, sir?
Thank you.
There should be 1 debit. Here, what I'm going to do, I'm debiting the rent expenses, I'm crediting the bank accounts. Okay, so there are 2 line items are there. Earlier in SAP ECC, when you go back to my previous class, I told that the BSEC is going to accept only up to 999 line items, and the COEP is also accepting only up to 999 line items, not more than this. Means in one transaction, if you take a one transaction, business accounting transaction, you can enter up to 999 line items in only one single document. Means you can debit 998 and you can credit the last one, 999 as a credit. Both the debit should be equal to credit. If the debit balance is $1,000, then the credit balance should be $1,000. So it is allowing me. So the BSEC is called as the line item level table for FI, and the COEP is going to be calling it as a line item level for the controlling. Now, if I open any document, for example, I posted this document. Example, understand that. Okay. Now I'm posting this document in my SAP. So here, when I call it as a posting is nothing but you're entering the transaction. You have created a document. Posting in SAP terminology, we call them as a posting the transaction. Once a transaction has been posted, then the system will create a document number. then the system will create a document number. We call it as a voucher number. Normally we call it as a voucher numbers. So what is the document number? Document number is 100. Example, for above document, for I'm talking about the rent expenses to the bank or clearing. Now, when I go and see this document, when I open the document in my SAP, every document will contain two parts. Every document will contain the two parts. One is called as a document header, and the second one we call it as a document line item. Very, very important. Very, very important. Every transaction which you have posted in SAP, after if you want to see the display of the document further after the document posted, now the document will contain the two parts. One is called as the header, another one is called as the line item. This header information, this is called as header information. Document header, and this is called as a document line items. Document line items. Now, when you come to the header, what information you can see in the header, which table I need to refer, which table it is going to be referred, the table name is going to be calling it as a BKPF. Please make a note of this, all of you. BKPF is the header table, and we call the line item level table. Just now we have seen the line item level table is going to be called as the BSync. BSync. So every document, once a document has posted in FI, it contains the two parts, header document and the line item level document. The header document, the header information like the dates, posting date, what is the document date, what type of document it is, whether it is a GL document or a vendor document or a customer document or asset document, what type of document, and to which company code it has posted, in which currency it has posted. That all the information I can go and see in the header level. That is called as in the BKPF table. Everything. So what are the information? Date, document date, posting date, and what type of document it is going to be called as a type of document, document type, and we have the company code, to which company code, and what is the currency, what is the currency, in which currency you have posted, example, in which currency you have posted the transaction. So if you go and see this information is available in the BKPF field. Now, yes, I understand that you have posted the document on the date called as today's date. Okay, today's date is going to be 23. Okay, and which company code I have posted to the company code called as US10, and in which currency. Now this is playing the major role now for me. In which currency now? Which currency have been assigned to my US10? The currency which have been assigned to my US10 company code is called as the USD. Very, very important, sir. USD. So USD is nothing but you call it as the local currency, or it is called as the company code currency. I'm not talking about the global company now. I'm not talking about the global company currency. I'm not talking about the group currency. Just now, because we have cleared all the doubts related to these two currencies. Now I'm coming to the local currency. So when you call it a local currency, the company code currency is called as a local currency. Company code currency is called as a local currency. Now, if I have entered the currency as a USD, then what is called as, it is the same like, there are two currencies. It is same like your company code currency. Okay, I'll tell you the reason now. I'll tell you one more important about the currency now. Now, this is the information I'm entering in the document header. But when you come to the line item level, what line items are going to be debit and what line items you are going to be credit. It will never talk about the BSEC table will never talk about the dates, company code, the currency and everything. It will only talk about the line items. It will only talk about the line items, means the rent expenses account has got debit and your cash or bank account has got credit. This is only the two line items over here. Means BSEG is only concentrating on the line item level and the BKPF is concentrating on the header information level. So now when you come to the FI module, BSEG is called as the line item level table, and when you come to the controlling, COEP is called as the line item level table. So for the BSEG, what is the header table? BKPF. And for the COEP, what is the header table? The COEP header table is going to be called as COBK. COBK is the header table, and here BKPF is the header table. BKPF is the header table. So Tomorrow, if you want any line item level report, so you'll go into the table called as BSEG, and if you want any header information related, you will go into the BKPS table. Now, I'm coming to the point now. Now, what is the currency? The currency which I have posted the transaction is USD. The USD is also called as my document currency also. Very, very important. Please make a note of this. Document currency. Now I'm coming to the new currency. Document currency, or it is also called as transaction currency. Document currency or the transaction currency. What is the document currency and what is the transaction currency now? I'm just confused about these two terminologies. So I understand that document currency and the transaction currency because okay, so I'm going to be working in the real time, so I know what is the document. But what, according to your understanding, what do you mean by document currency or a transaction currency? Anybody? Any guesses? Something like, I'm not telling it should be the accurate. Okay, so any guesses from yourself? What do you mean by document currency or transaction currency? No guesses?
Document currency is the currency which is used only for that particular transaction.
Okay, very good, sir. So now I'm putting a question now. Okay, very good, sir. Thanks for bringing that. Okay, now, which currency I have assigned to the US 10, sir? For US 10, USD, no? So this is
USD.
called as my local currency. I'm right, sir?
Right.
Okay, now I am removing the USD, sir, here.
Yeah,
But
if
my
you remove
company
it,
code
will
is
take
US.
default.
Okay, yes, very good. Now my company code is US 10 only. My company code is US 10, but I'm posting the transactions in Euro. I'm posting the transactions in Euro, not in USD. So this is called as the foreign currency transaction. I'm right, sir?
Right.
All of you?
But
It's called as the foreign
conversion
currency
will be
transaction.
take place into dollars.
Exactly. Now, in the back end, already I have maintained the exchange rates. Okay, exchange rate. What is the today's? According to 23 today, $1 is equal to 1 USD is equal to example. And the second one, okay, direct quotation, and the second one is going to be called as indirect quotation. 1 euro is equal to, I will maintain some exchange rates in the back end. Okay. Now, the system, what it will do, you are doing the transaction as on date of 23/12/2019. So it will go and check $1 is equal to how much rate you have entered for 1 euro. Now, I posted a transaction. Now, when I go and see the document here, the document currency, very, very important, it look like this. Euro, and here it will be the USD. And here it will be the USD. USD is nothing but your local currency. USD is nothing but your local currency. Now, you're not posting the transactions in USD, you're posting the transactions in Euro. But my local currency is a USD. Now, how much amount you have entered? 10 euros. Example I'm taking. 10 euros you have entered. 10, and here also 10. Debit and credit both are 10. Now, the system in the back end, it will go and see 1 euro is equal to how many USDs, and back end it will go search, and it will convert the rate, and it will show here. It will show here. Very, 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 very important. So it is going to be something like, okay, it is going to become something like 10 euros. Okay, so I'm entering, okay, 1 USD and 1 euro. 1 USD is equal to something like, okay, so 0.235 something, and 1 euro is equal to, okay, 1.23 something like this. This is my euro conversion rate. 1 euro is equal to how many euros? How many USDs? 1.23 something like that. Now 10 into 1.23 something. Okay, it will give the rate over here now. Okay, automatically it will show some conversion rate. It will show some conversion rate, something about the conversion rate over here. Now, very, very important. Now, these currency transactions you're making, in which currency you're making the currency transactions in Euro, not in USD. So this particular document, the document currency and the transaction currency is called as the Euro. the document currency or the transaction currency is called as a euro. And you can see the conversion rate in the local currency. Local currency is not your transaction currency. In this particular transaction, I'm talking. In this particular transaction, your USD is not a document currency or it is called as a transaction currency.
Yeah.
Euro is nothing but your transaction currency or it is called as a document currency.
Yeah, Mahesh.
Yes, sir.
Document currency is nothing but a name of transaction currency. Both are same, right?
Both are same, sir.
Okay.
Both are same. Now, understand here. Now, I'm entering the transactions not in euro. I'm entering the transactions in USD now. Now, my local currency. Local currency is nothing but your company code currency, same USD. Now, when I enter a transaction in USD, then my transactions will be not posted to the euro. My transactions will be only posted to USD. Then my USD is called as my document currency and it is also called as a transaction currency. And I can have the reports based on my local currency also. So a document currency or a transaction currency can be anything. Either it can be the local currency or it can be the foreign currency. Now, when I come to the SAP BKPF table, when I come, BSEC table, a BSEC table will contain the line item level information about the transaction. So whatever the line items, whether the transaction has got posted to the same currency or it is going to be the different currency. So in SAP earlier, when you go back to your SAP ECC, it will be supporting your BSEC, means your FI will be supporting only 3 currencies. One is going to be called as 10. 10 is called as a company code currency. Second one, we call it as an additional currency. I'll tell you what is additional currency. And third one, okay, additional currency 2, additional currency 1 and additional currency 2. Earlier in SAP ECC, I'm talking. So I'll write here instead of 10, I'll take it as a company code currency. So how many currencies can you assign? How many currencies can you assign in SAP? I'm talking in SAP, in ECC, not in SAP S4hana. If you go back to your ECC, how many currencies can you assign in FI for a company code? So SAP will be supported only up to 3 currencies. Only 3 currencies. The first currency always will be called as a company code currency, which is indicated with 10. The second local currency, the first local currency, which we call it as additional currency, either it can be anything. You can take 30. 30 is called as a group currency. Either you can take 40. 40 is called as a hard currency. And I'll tell you what is the hard currency. We are not discussed about the hard currency and the index-based currency. I'll tell you. And the 50 is going to be called as index-based currency. Normally, hard currencies and index-based currencies are assigned for the countries where the inflation rate is very, 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 very high. Okay, for those countries, we are going to be taking this 40 and 50, hard currency or index-based currency. We'll discuss more into the detail after that sometime. And additional currency 2 is going to be the optional for you. Additional currency is going to be optional for you. Either you can take 40 or 50, anything you can take here. Okay, either you can take 40 or 50. So in earlier, if you go back to your SAP, FI can be supported only up to 3 currencies. Means only 3 currencies can be assigned to the FI. The first one is called as the company code currency. Second one, you can take either it can be the 30 or 40 or 50. The third local currency, the second local currency, either you can take 40 or it is going to be the 50. So this is the currency settings earlier in SAP ECC. Only 3 currencies are going to be supported for you. When you come to the controlling, which we call it as a COEP table level, this is at the BSEC level table. This is at the BSEC level table. When you come to the controlling, only 2 currencies are supported. Only 2 currencies are supported. One is going to be 10, or it can be 30, or it can be 20. Any 2 currencies. I'll tell you what are those 2 currencies in the coming, because we'll park this controlling aside because it is very far away to discuss about the controlling topics. So we are only in FI. So only concentrate from the FI side. So this is exactly the currency settings we are going to be making. But now in SAP S4hana, we don't have these currency settings directly at the company code level now. Okay. So earlier we have only 3 currencies are going to be supported, but in SAP S4HANA, when you're taking a transaction, you can show the reports in 8 freely defined currencies. Apart from your local currency and the global currency, SAP is providing you 8 freely defined currencies now in SAP S4HANA. So we'll discuss on this topic. Okay, so this is about the ECC comparison between SAP ECC to SAP S4HANA. So what we are going to be calling, so first currency always will be the 10, second currency will be a 30 or 40 or 50, and the second local currency can be the 40 or 50. This is only the 3 currencies can be supported earlier in SAP ECC. But in SAP S4HANA, now today we have 2 plus 8. Totally we have 10 currencies, my dear friend. 10 currencies are going to be supported in SAP S4HANA from today onwards. So first two are going to be called as local currency. Another one is called as the global currency. And the SAP is providing you 8 freely defined currency. But here, if you see, only 2 freely defined. One is the first currency, additional currency, second. But now in SAP S4HANA, you can have 8 freely defined currencies for any kind of reporting system from today onwards in SAP S4HANA. Mean totally 10 currencies are going to be supported in SAP S4HANA. So that is the new enhancement which has been brought in SAP S4HANA compared with your SAP ECC to SAP S4HANA. Let me go into the SAP now. I'll log into the SAP now. I'll show both. First, we will assign the company codes to the company, and then we'll go to the currency settings now. What happened? The remote desktop can't be connected to the remote for one of the reasons. Remote access to the server is not enabled. The remote computer is turned off. Make sure the remote computer is turned off and connected to the network and that remote. What happened? Here it is SAP ECC, and we have SAP S4HANA 19.1. If you see here, SAP ECC with SAP S4HANA 19.1. Now let me go to the SAP ECC right now. First, I'll log into this.
Mahesh,
Madam?
quick question. Here, when I go to the remote desktop server, I don't get that option, like to see both.
Okay, I don't know, madam, about that. Okay, what you are not getting the information like the information screen?
We only have access to one server. We only have access to 1909.
Okay. This is my personal server actually. Okay. You're talking about the remote desktop. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay. Now, I'll go to FB03. Now, I'll go for one document. I just look out for one document, okay? Just, this is not a practical, I'm just explaining you about the documents, okay? Now here, if you see here, there are a lot many documents I posted. Okay, we see here. Okay, document number. These all are going to be called as a document numbers. Now I'll open one document. Now this is my document. See here, this is my document. So now, if you see the document here, this is going to be called as header information. The first box, this is called as a document header, and the below one we call it as a document line item. This is called as a line item level table. So these are all the line items. Somebody, can you mute your call, sir, please?
I'm sorry, I'm muting. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay. Now, if you see here, this document information, header information will go and store in the BKPF table, and the document line items will go and store in the BSEG level table. Now, I see the currency which you have entered is going to be called as the USD. I see the currency which you have entered in SAP is going to be called as the USD. Now, this, when I enter the line item, when I double click on the line item, the transaction currency is going to be the same as your company code currency. Here, the same transaction. So, 12,000 USD dollars you have posted. So, the 12,000 USD dollars is nothing but your transaction currency which you have posted in USD. See here. Now, when I'm supposed to enter any foreign currency, now I'm going for a foreign currency. For example, now, when I want to enter any transaction, now here I'm giving the date and the time and everything. Okay, so date, today's date, but not here USD. I'm entering the transactions in Euro, not in USD. I'm entering the transactions in Euro. Then the transactions you are entering. Now what happened here? I'll enter the same. This is not a practical, just I'm making you to explain about the different types of currencies, please. Very, very important. Now here you can see here. Conversion factor missing for the table B for the currency from the Euro to USD means what it is telling that you are not maintain the currency conversion factors in the back end. The Euro to USD, what is the dollar value from Euro to USD, you are not forgotten. So you are not entered the currency conversion factor. If until or unless if the currency conversion factor is not entered, the system is not going to proceed further. Why? Because you are entering other than the local currency. It is not a local currency. It is other than the local currency. So if I enter the currency conversion, okay, not here, okay, it has to be entered, okay. So now I cannot post it. Why? Because I need to enter the currency conversion factor over there. So until or unless if you're not enter the currency conversion factor, the system will not allow you to post the transaction. It is showing in a error warning. You can see here it is a completely error. Currency conversion factor rate B for the Euro to USD is not maintained in the Excel sheet. So that is not in the Enter sheet. Where you have to maintain here. So normally every day accounting clerks will do this duty, or in the background job, okay, it will be automatically get updated. Here we are going to be maintaining the translation rates. Here we need to maintain the translation rates about all the currency conversion between the Euro to, so something like, for example, I'm doing something for Euro to USD. I'm entering the rate. So 1 euro is equal to how many? It's an indirect quotation. Okay, 0.2356. So example, I'm taking about today. Today the conversion rate is this much. So 24/12/2019 I'm giving valid from today's day, today's rate. This is the today's date. 1 euro is equal to how many dollars? Okay, so 1 point something like, okay, sorry, not euro. 1.2356 something about. This is the indirect quotation. Now I'm pressing enter. Maintain. So the ratio should be 1:1. 1 euro is equal to 1. Okay, that is 1:1 euro to dollar, dollar to euro. This is not the practical, just I'm making you to explain about the process. Okay, now I'll come back, I'll save everything. Now I maintain the range. Go back. Just try to enter if any errors are there. Now I'm changing the, by default, you can see it will be the USD. By default, you can see the USD. Why? Because if I go to the company code, we have created a company code in the last class. Okay, if I go to the company code, SPRO, IMG, enterprise structure, definition, financial accounting, and if I come to the edit, copy, delete, check company code, if I double click on edit company code data, now if I go to the company code 1710, this is my company code. And if I select the company code and if I go into the details, so here you can see that, okay, which currency I have assigned, the currency is going to be called as USD. This is called as my local currency. So by default, it will be the local currency. When you come to any transaction related to the 1710 system, by default, it will be updated with USD only. Now I don't want to post in USD. I want to post in Euro. Then this is not a local currency. This is not a local currency. You're entering the foreign currency. This is other than the local currency. I want to debit See here, I want to debit now. See here, now here I'm seeing the two currencies. One is euro, another one is USD. So the amount you are trying to enter in euro, not in USD. USD is nothing but LC. LC is nothing but your local currency. So now here my transaction currency is a euro, not a USD. So if I enter 100 euros, example, now this is my column. This is called as electricity and other utilities expenses. I'm posting to electricity and other utilities. So I debit and I'll do the credit. I'm creating to the some petty cash account, something like that. This is not a practical, just making you to understand. Okay, don't take into the practical level. Okay, because currencies play the major role. If you understand the currency, then the remaining everything will be fine for you. So I'm entering the okay star, something like that. Okay, I'm putting about the place. Now I'll see the word. Now see here. These are the two line items. These are the two line items. The first line item is the debit line item, and the second line item, if you see the minus symbol, it is going to be called as a credit line item.
So Mahesh, did you post the petty cash also in euro because you went too fast there, so
Yes,
I couldn't figure
madam,
out.
Definitely 100%. If we call it as a document, then anyone, if you take a document, there will be a number of debits, there are number of credits will be there. So the number of debit currency should be equal to your number of credit transactions. So it should be the by default, it will be the euro only.
Okay, and then when you manually change, like when you entered the currency in the back end from, you know, like 1 euro is so and so USD. So that's how you get it on the currency screen next
See
to
here,
euro.
exactly. See here, automatically it will come here. See here. I never entered anything. Automatically in the back end, whatever the rate I have maintained, automatically it is coming and sitting over here. See here, 1 euro is equal to how many dollars? 1
Okay,
euro
so
is equal to $1.2356, something like
right.
$1 is equal to 1.23 like that.
So this is not the entry screen. This is like the outcome screen, correct? Like we do not enter here. Okay.
Exactly. Now, if you see here, the translation date is today's date. Actually, as on today, 24/12/2019, what is the rate I have? What is the rate? This is the rate. Now, I entered the transactions in euro, not in USD. So now this euro here in this example, if you see both the example, the first one and the second one, if you see here, I have entered the transactions in USD. This is my local currency. In this case, my local currency is also equal to my document currency. But here, my local currency is a USD, but I have entered the documents in euro. So now this euro is nothing but my document currency, or it is also called as a transaction currency. Very important. This is very important. So what is the currency which I'm going to be discussing now? So we discussed about what is a local currency, what is a company code currency, what is a group currency, and the global company currency. Now this is very important currency we are discussing, which is going to be called as a document currency or the transaction currency. Now the transactions you have entered is in euro, not in USD. So when I double click on one of the line item, if I double click on it, now you can see here, automatically the rate is going to be reflecting in USD also. Automatically, I have not entered any rate in USD. Automatically it is coming in the local currency. Just I entered only the 100 euros, but now you can see here, it is reflecting as a 123.56 USDs. This is what exactly I call it as a local currency. This is exactly I call it as a local currency. Now what I'll do here, I just posting the transaction now. Okay, I posted the transaction. Now I'm posting the transaction. once again, I'm telling it is not a practical, just I'm making you to understand about the different types of currencies. Now I got created the transaction. Now here, this is the document number. Document 10002 was posted in the company code 1710. Okay, now I'll go to the tables now. Okay, so now I'll go to the tables. So what is the transaction code? If I want to see the tables, SE16N, you can use SE16N. Press enter. Which table you are referring to? I want to refer to the table called as BSEG, BSEG, BSEG. Okay, now press enter. If you press enter, the selection criteria will be allowed for the modification. Now if I press enter, see like this. Okay, now BSEG, you are looking out for the BSEG table? Yes, I'm looking out for the BSEG table. Which company code? Enter the company code. 1710 is the company code. What is the document number you're looking out for? This is the document number I'm looking out for. Now I'm giving the company code. I've given the fiscal year. Fiscal year is nothing but your financial year. Now, if this is the BSEG table, now I have entered the company code. Company code field is BUKRS. It is a standard one. Bookras. Normally we call it as a Bookras. And the document number field is called as a Belnar. And the fiscal year field is nothing but Gajar, GJHR. Okay, now, okay, this is the document number I given. I'm just executing because I want to see whether the document has created. Yes, I created, but I want to see in the table level. Execute. Now see here the document. If you see here, document, this is the document number. There are two line items, are there, line item 1 and line item 2, because debit line item and the credit line item. And here you can see the figures. Excuse me. Here you can see the figures. Amount in LC is nothing but a local currency. And the GL account document you have posted here. Very, 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 very important. You can see the transaction amount and the amount in the local currency. Excuse me. Now, in SAP S4hana, there is a new line item level table called as ACDOCA table. Very, very important. Last class we have discussed about that also. Okay. Now I'll come to the new table, ECDOCA table now. This is the BSEG. BSEG is still, it is there. Now I'll go to the new table called as ACDOCA table. Same, SE16N. Same, SE16N, and I'm pressing enter. Same information, but I will not give the table BSEG. I'll give the table called as ACDOCA table now, which is called as Universal General Entry Table. I'll press enter. I'll give the ledger. What is the ledger? We'll discuss. I'll give the company code 1710. I'll give the financial year 2019. And what is the document number? This is the document number. This is the document number. Now, BSEG and ACDOCA table both are available in SAP S4hana. What is the purpose? I'll tell you. Now execute. Now see the difference here. Now see the difference over here. I'll select the line item number 1 and I just click on the display details. I'll select any one of the line item. I'll click on the details. Or instead of looking this table, I'll just go to back and I'll give only SC16. It will be easy for you. Instead of giving N, I'll give only SC16. It will be easy for me. Okay. Now, I'll select only the first line item. Now I'll click on the details. Okay. Display. I'll go for the details or display. Now here you can see here. This is the document. I'm displaying the documents in ACDOCA table, ECDOCA table. Now just come down. Come down. Come down. Come down. Just come down. Here you can see here. The balances in transaction currency is nothing but your euro, and your transaction is nothing but your euro. Very, very important. See that. But your company code currency is USD. Your global currency is also going to be called as USD. Okay, now I'll show both of them. Come on, go to GL posting. Now come and open the document. Just go and see that this is the document I posted now. Just now I posted this is the document. This is the document we have posted now. Euro, 100 euros. Okay. So the balances in transaction currency, in which currency you're seeing the balance? The balances in the transaction currency is euro. And the transaction currency, you have posted the transaction in which currency? The transactions are posted in euro, but your company code currency is a USD and your global currency is also called as USD. See the very, very important here. Now, Mahesh, can you go and show me the transaction currency and the company code currency amount? Just come down. If you see here, this is the amount. Here you can see the amount. Your amount in balanced transaction currency is 100, that is euro. But when it has converted to the local currency, you can see it is a 123.56. This is called as your local currency. Local currency is called as a 10. Currency type, it is going to be called as a 10. This is the new enhancement in SAP S4hana. Clear to all of you know what is the document currency, what is the company code currency. Now you got a clear understanding about the picture now. Now I'll go back and I'll show one more document to you. Now I'll go back. I'll show this document. Now here, if you see here, there is no foreign currency posting. The currency you are taking it as a USD only. Now I'll go and see this document now. Okay, I'll go to this document. Go back. Just remove this document number. Just give the tool. Now, if you see here, see, all are going to be the same. Your balances you're posted in the same currency and your company code is also going to be the same currency because it is not a foreign currency posting. It is the same local currency posting. If I come and see here, same USD and the same balances are going to be shown with the USD. So here, your transaction currency and the document currency is same as your company code currency. But in earlier example, the transaction currency is different. That is the euro and your local currency is USD. This is the difference between these two transactions. Now, this is what exactly the understanding about.
So the USD is the document currency?
Here, in this case.
Right, no, I'm talking about the first one.
In the first one, the document currency is euro.
Okay, document currency is euro.
Euro.
Okay, and then transaction currency is USD.
Exactly. No. The transaction, the company code currency is USD.
So Mahesh, when you say document currencies, you mean the invoice that we got from the vendor that was in euro.
Exactly.
And, but our system, the company code is set up in a US dollar currency, right?
That is the company code currency. Exactly.
Yes.
So then the transaction currency and the document currency will always be the same.
Both are same. Both always will be the same.
Okay. So
any doubt in company code? Sir?
Transaction currency is basically the currency that we got the invoice for.
Exactly, sir.
Right?
Whichever the invoice, whether it is a local currency or whether it is a foreign currency, anything.
Right.
So now these are the four differences. One, we have discussed about what is the company code currency, what is the document currency, what is the global currency, what is the group currency. Four different types of currencies we have discussed. Any doubts? So in SAP, now in SAP, so we know that now when you come back, the global company code currency, the type is going to be called as 60 in SAP because if you want to see the reports in global company code currency, it is a 60. If you want to see the reports in group currency, it is a 30. And when you want to see the reports in company code currency, it is going to be the 10. But is there any currency type? Is there any currency type for the document currency or the transaction currency? Yes, this is going to be indicated with 00. Very, very important. So Just come back. SPRO, IMG, financial accounting global settings, ledger. If I come to the define, this is the important class. In the next class, we are coming to the same setting. Very, very important classes. Okay. Now, if I select these are the currency types. Okay. If I double click on it, now you can see 00 is always called as document currency. 10 is always called as company code currency. 30 is always called as group currency. 60 is always called as global company currency. There is a 40 and 50 is also there. I'll discuss in the next class. 40 is called as the hard currency and 50 is going to be calling it as the index based currency. So now the document currency type is always called as 00. 00 is always called as your document currency, which is maintained at globally. I'll tell you what is a global. There are two settings are there. One is called as global. Another one is going to be called as company code. So what are the settings? So yes, madam.
So Mahesh, can you tell me, 1 second, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so can you tell me one thing, the code, the currency type which you're saying, I understood that, but is there a specific place where we have to put that?
Only for the reportings. When you no need to put any kind of, while you're posting any transactions, you never put any kind of currency types. As I told you that when we are posting any transactions in SAP, any transaction, not only general ledger, vendor, customer, any transaction, you will never put any code here. You will put only the currency here. But for reporting purpose, whenever you want to see any report, for example, in the month end, I want to see my balance sheet and P&L account. For example, if I want to see my financial statement, in which currency type you want to see the reports. So you can put the report currency here. If you want to see in 10 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60, in which currency type you want to see the report, the currency type is going to help you out to see the reports. But while you are entering the transaction, no, you have to keep the currency zone. Clear, madam?
Yes.
Okay. This is about the today's class about what we are discussing about that. Okay. So I wish you a happy Christmas to all of you. So enjoy the day. Okay. So we'll be catching in the next class about it.